Okay, let's see the basic steps involved in carving the maxillary canine tooth. Now this is I've already marked here 11.4. In fact, it is close to 12 millimeters. I've marked 12 millimeters here on all the four sides. Now this is going to be the crown of this tooth, so all of you please measure 12 millimeters and mark 12 millimeters as your crown dimension. So I've marked 12 millimeters. Now this represents the crown, which is going to be the crown. And once I do that, the next step would be I divide this crown into 3 equal thirds. Now this is going to be the cervical 1/3, this is going to be the middle 1/3, and this is going to be the incisal 1/3. So similarly, I'm going to do the same thing on other four sides: cervical 1/3, middle 1/3, and incisal 1/3. Once I do that, I'll mark the sides. Now this is going to be my labial side. I'll mark it as L. This is going to be the right sided tooth, so this side becomes distal. So if this is labial, now this has to be the distal if I'm going to do a right sided tooth. Now this is distal. The other side would be mesial, and back side would be palatal. Right, now we have all the sides marked. We'll be now working on the labial side, so we'll turn the block to facing the labial side, and then first thing to do is first mark the midline. Right, once we mark the midline, the mesiodistal dimension of canine tooth at crown is 8.4 millimeters. At crown is where in fact it contacts the adjacent tooth. So at crown means we have to measure here, because the crest of curvature is the incisal 1/3 area, and at cervix is around 6 millimeters. So for 6 millimeters, better to take 7 millimeters. So take around 3.5 millimeters on either side of the midline, or even 4 millimeters. Better to take 4 millimeters on either side of the midline. Similarly, at crown, I'll measure, it has to be the mesiodistal dimension is 8.4, so better take 9 millimeters. So 4.5, close to 5. Once I do that, I'm going to join those lines what I marked just now. On either side. Once I do that, whatever extra wax we have, that has to be removed. So that can be done slowly, layer by layer. So I'll be doing that. Just make sure don't remove beyond the markings. Do it slowly, layer by layer. Just make sure you remove the wax just around the line. So I'll turn on the other side as well. So I'll repeat the same. Once we do this, as I told previously, the incisal edge is not straight, instead we have cuspal slopes. So for that we need to understand something called as contact areas. On the distal side, the contact area is at the middle of the middle 1/3, and on the mesial side the contact area is at the junction of the incisal in the middle 1/3. So on the mesial side, this is at the junction, this is middle 1/3, incisal 1/3, so this is at the junction. So I'll join this point to this. Similarly, on the distal side, the contact point is at the middle of the middle 1/3, so I'll join these 2 points. Now we get 2 cuspal slopes. So then we slowly remove layer by layer. Do it slowly, take your time, don't be in a hurry. Similarly on this side. Now we have mesial cuspal slope, we have distal cuspal slope, and distal cuspal slope should be longer because the contact area on the distal side is at the middle of the middle 1/3, and this one is at the junction of the middle and the incisal 1/3. Now let us turn the block onto the distal side, and now if you see, we need to get the crest of curvature on the labial outline and the lingual outline at the cervical 1/3 area. Just like how we got on the incisor tooth, the crest of curvature lies here on the labial outline. Similarly, the crest of curvature lies on the cervical area on the lingual outline. So the labiolingual dimension at cervix is 8 millimeters. So let us draw the midline first. So the labiolingual dimension at cervix is 8 millimeters. So let's take 8 millimeters. I'll mark 4 millimeters on the either side. and at crown is 8.8, so close to 9, so I'll take 4.5 or even close to 9 millimeters. So take 4.5. Join those points. And then this extra part, whatever is there, we have to remove. So for that, just like how I did for incisor, one thing to note here is when you're doing the labial surface, make sure you try to create the labial ridge just by removing the wax on the two equal halves. Make sure the crest of curvature lies in the cervical 1/3 area. We can always recreate the tip, that's not an issue, so later also we can do it. Just make sure your crest of curvature lies in the cervical 1/3 area. After that, or if you want, or if just make sure distal cuspal slope is longer than the mesial. After that, let us create lingual convergence. Let's not touch the palatal surface now. Let us create lingual convergence. So we all know what is lingual convergence. Lingually, the tooth kind of converges. So arbitrarily reduce the dimension on the lingual side. Make the lingual side narrow. We don't want this much width on the lingual side. So reduce the lingual side dimension. So you can see that I have drawn a line here. Similarly, I have drawn a line on this side. So we'll start reducing the wax on the lingual side. Make the lingual side narrow layer by layer. Similarly on the other side. Make your tooth narrow on the lingual side. See how the tooth is narrow? Try to create the midline in the center. Once you do that, mark the labiolingual dimension at crown and at cervix. At cervix is 8 millimeters, so we'll mark 4 millimeters on either side of the midline, and at crown is 8.8, so take 9 millimeters, 4.4 on either side of the midline, so some 9 millimeters is here, so it should come somewhere here. So this part should be your cingulum, and then you can join the line. Whatever extra you are seeing here has to be removed. Now that can be done layer by layer again. So try to scoop it as you remove. Try to create the cingulum. Cingulum is very well defined in maxillary canine. I see the incisal edge should be incisal edge to be very thick. I notice the incisal edge is a bit thick. We can always reduce. Trying to round off all the line angles, sharp ones. On the labial surface you can kind of give a depression, because on either side of the labial ridge prominent there will be a faint depression. If you move your fingers on it, you can literally feel that the depression. You see that? This depression. Just try to work on the cervical area and make it clean. Try to define the tooth. We need to still do the lingual fossa. Now this is a very prominent lingual ridge. So on either side of the lingual ridge there will be a very well defined depression. Now this depression is your lingual fossa on either side. Once you do that, you can kind of try to merge to give a smooth junction. Just make sure you polish it nicely so that you don't see any wax residues. Automatically it takes up a smooth, if you polish nicely, the lingual fossa takes up a smooth appearance. We should try to give a slight concavity above the contact point on the distal side. Slight concavity because it is concave on the distal side, above the contact point. On the mesial side it is convex, so it is okay. So this is the labial surface, labial U. You have two cuspal slopes, distal cuspal slope longer than the mesial cuspal slope, very well developed prominent labial ridge, runs from cervical area till the incisal tip, cuspal tip. Then you have the distal outline, which is slightly concave and then convex, concave above the contact point. On the mesial side, above the contact point it is just convex. Now these are the essential surface, these are the essential features that have to be there in the carving. If we turn on the proximal sides, if you notice, the crest of curvature on both labial and lingual surface lies in the cervical 1/3, and the incisal tip, the cusp tip, lies in the long axis of the tooth. Then if we turn on the lingual aspect, we have very well developed cingulum, two well developed lingual fossa separated by two well developed lingual fossa depressions separated by well developed lingual ridge. Lingual ridge also travels from cingulum till the cusp tip. Similarly, the same thing, the crest of curvature lies in the cervical 1/3 in the labial outline. Similarly, the crest of curvature lies in the cervical 1/3 in the lingual outline, and we can see the lingual fossa. Now this is how your maxillary canine tooth should look like.